What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Finally a buyout of culture here on MarketWatch. Puny Penguin has skyrocketed to be a $7 to $9 common today. This is lovely, and the sales rate actually shows up to $4 to $5 was spent on even light play first edition copies. So what's up with this? Well, it only has one printing, and Penguins came with support in Burst of Destiny. Everybody kind of forgot about that till we see meme deck list popping up. And you might scratch your head and remember, wait, this stopped regionals a long time ago, and I put this deck together. So if it is in your closet and you have Penguins, well, you have some extra cash versus what you might have thought. But when the original support was announced for Burst of Destiny, a ton of cards like Nope, Penguin, and the others did end up going up in price too. But this with only one printing, super hard to get. And where does Konami even reprint something like that? Like Goes from the Trash 2 as a holo? Not the worst idea in the world. Now, in some lesser news compared to this buyout, TCG Player has announced their bonus bucks back for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Set your alarms 8 a.m. Eastern time till 11 p.m. both days. 15% for Black Friday and 10% for Cyber Monday. So people that feel like they missed out, as well as vendors scrambling to buy cards through the weekend to be able to list and make extra money on Monday, it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of two huge sales days hitting together and what it'll do to the market. Actually, for the long term, as a lot of people are eyeing Starlight rares, and we'll cover some of the damage from the previous bonus bucks back days on those, but also for their meta decks. It's gonna be a weird mix, especially with Gold Series having released as well by then. Pendulum got a second Pendulum summon in a card, and that's causing a lot of hype for the deck. Check that card out if you haven't already. But it's searchable by Duelist Alliance, and the secret rare ones, yeah, they've skyrocketed in price. Now, the Unlims are still around $8 to $9, but the first editions are around 16 plus at this point. And this wasn't cheap to begin with. I think it was like 10 to 11 at the start of the night, so it actually hasn't gone up that much. But if you notice, every single copy of this has started to go up. The easiest access version is actually the Battles of Legend holographic, and then you have a common out of the Legendary Dragon decks, which we've recently covered, is $180 on the secondary market, but a lot of people will have those commons laying around. But yeah, this is kind of wild to see the quantities go down and people scramble for it and get excited about that deck again. And with that Odd Eye support, you do see Odd Eye's Vortex Dragon Ultimate rares starting to go a bit more on the market. Again, this wasn't cheap to begin with, but people going and scrambling to secure their first editions has pushed this back up to the $30 mark for first ed. And then the other copies actually are pretty low listings for the nice ones like the original secret rare, but then you have the Megaton secret, really cheap also, and just spend a little extra money maybe if you watch it cool off and decide to get yours later to get yourself the original. Then we see Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer get talked about a lot with the new Performapal support and how plus you can go with it. The Unlims haven't really budged here too much, so the first editions also are about where they were when we started the stream last night looking at them. It hasn't gone too crazy, and for past formats, it's a card to consider as well. Evenly Matched is seeing a lot of play in this current format, and the ultra rare out of dual power has started to go up, as well as Ghosts from the Past. These were more towards 15, 16, now they're 18 solid and going up and out in quantities, and the secret rares are really spiking a lot harder, especially the originals from Circuit Break. So just be aware, this is really good against a ton of the decks that aren't putting out Omni Negation, but rather just Monster Negates. Like, I know when I'm playing Phantom Knights, I see this card, I'm usually not having the best of time against it. Pot of Desires is getting teched in quite a few decks, and we see the secret rare actually going almost completely off the market. I remember covering this a while back, and how the first edition secret had spiked hard, but now you see the Unlims off the market, and just first editions here starting at $50. So yeah, secret rare has so much competition though from collector rares, but note, there's only 12 listings now on the collector rares. It's going kind of wild, and the first editions, they were around here before, it's only up like $10, but they are going up. And then the ultimate rare versus the Toon Chaos collector rare, it's had its back and forth with those cards. It's around where it's been at, but up just a tad. So a ton of these higher end versions going up. Maybe put that on your checklist if you've been waiting to buy these for that TCG Player bonus bucks back day using that TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. Burst of Destiny, the sealed is sticking in price, but a lot of the singles are going down just a little bit right now. Not by a ton, like you see this 54 on Moyi, but you actually click, and you'll be a little disappointed to see it's 58, but that's still down from the 62 it was at, so creeping down in price and up in competition is Burst of Destiny, even for how hot it has been. I really like the looks, though, of stuff like Lord of Heavenly Prison updating stun decks and how much this set has done across the board. A ton of people have been pointing to me at Rocket Caliber to suggest this is a penny stock, John. It's so good. You're losing your mind if you don't think it's great. It is a decent extender as well as a tuner body in the rockets, but it doesn't, like, blow my mind. But as an ultra rare, I can agree $2 seems to be really good value, and then it's $3 somewhat quickly. So those cheaper copies have been going off the market, and a lot of people seem to be on this card and asking about updates to Dragon Link and what I think about Dragon Link this format. I think it's solid rogue that could win an event if people sleep on it enough, but tons of people have matchup knowledge, where I've heard stories of people going, yeah, I didn't read the Flunderies, I didn't really care, and it really got me at locals, it just stomped me, whereas people really know where Dragon Link's going and what it's doing. It's a question of if you can deal with it. Sky Striker's got a huge boost this format, and so many people are like, what do you mean? They're playing the DPE engine, the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and this guy gets himself out of the main monster zone on demand, and I've seen a ton of Striker lists start to do good this format. In fact, one of the sponsors, Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily, they went undefeated in a 3v3 up till the top 4, as I understand. So Striker, it's all over top-rated dueling book right now, which, to be fair, it exists in the dueling book meta past what it should every format, but it's a lot more prevalent right now, and I'm hearing things about it appearing in real life, and the prices are reflecting this. Like, market price on Kagari is down to 170, it was sinking once again, and now the lowest one is towards 190. And then you have Shizuku, this bubbled up as well, and this could be due in part to the Striker box, and people seeing how crazy the Mayakashi they made cards were with the Shiranui, but I do again want to remind you that one of the Sky Striker cards was already revealed, so some people could be buying in from hype of potential reveals there as well, combined with the current format. There's a lot of thought and theory to that, I suppose. Lightning Overdrive, Underdrive, Rudy Rose Ragan, it's still up in price, but why I'm here is a bit of a penny stock that has sunk in price. You remember a lot of people were spending 5 to 6 on this, and if you fell for the TCG Direct, you would think that. It's down to $2 to $3, and with Brothers of Legend on the horizon, bringing Utopia support guaranteed, and wherever they're going to put the Utopia structure deck, like goes from the trash too, this is going to continue to get looked up till it has a reprint, so you probably want this card sooner than later, and it's at one of its bottomed out prices of all time if you're going to be on the Utopia decks. Starlight Rares really got slammed by bonus bucks back, and I said we would talk about it. Look at this. Apollosa back to crazy proportion prices. Veiler hitting above 700. Triple Tactics Talent at 800 for the Starlight. Pot of Prosperity at 700. I feel like bonus bucks back, giving that incentive of you get a percentile and it's so much money back on the bigger amounts you spend, really supercharged the Starlight market as a whole. So you kind of want your game plan in, but also keep in mind the price history of what's happened recently, and don't just catch yourself way overspending on like, okay, this is at 800, I'm prepared for Black Friday, I'm getting 15% off, I'm getting a deal. Think about how things have skyrocketed, and some of these won't get retargeted while others will. So really just think about your game plan on the Starlight market. But bonus bucks back, it's supercharged this market. Dark Ruler No More secret rares are now up towards 18. I think I covered it at 15 to 16, while the common has been doing nothing but also kind of heading upwards around $7 to $8. I want to remind you that in the OCG, the Albaz Strike structure deck list has Dark Ruler No More. It'll be interesting to see if that's one of the ones they pluck out to protect the only value that the Charmer structure deck has going for it. But it would be weird to pluck it out after already giving it to one structure deck. Kind of make it the modern Veiler. Give it to decks as an option and like let it play in Yu-Gi-Oh! As a board buster. It makes sense to give these tools to beginners, right? So I do wonder what they'll do. But this, you can tell, is the reason that this structure deck has a lot of value going for it at all. I wonder what they'll be taking out or putting into this. And I wanted to correct myself. Discord actually has 2 printings in Yu-Gi-Oh! It has a dual terminal as well. But I wanted to point out, why would you be on this over D-Barrier other than the fact that it lasts multiple turns? You open yourself up to being hit by, like, Cosmic Cyclone, Harpy's Feather Duster, Easy Spell, and Trap Outs, where D-Barrier, it falls only to the same things that would affect this, like Red Reboot being drawn. So I feel like that this doesn't make as much sense as a buyout unless you're trying to play it in addition to your 3-dimensional barriers, in which case why aren't you just on Trap Trick instead or something? Let me know if you're actually playing Discord why that would be. And so many people were like, John, cover Intercept Wave, it doesn't have a reprint, it's only ulti in this, and you should be looking at it. All synchro monsters on the field are changed to defense and return them to the extra deck during the end phase. That doesn't stop or prevent or have negation. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, yeah, you can activate it and then whatever they would put out would be, like, deterred, I suppose, because it just generically says, and then return all of them, not the ones that were turned to defense, but I don't know. You're still letting them play out your turn and hit you in the face, where D-Barrier prevents that from ever happening. I don't like these texts necessarily, and I should have emphasized that more when I was covering. Also, this has the dual terminal version, which is bought out to a greater degree. It's the max rarity of it. If I had these cards, I would be trying to sell them immediately. And one great thing about the market is even if a buyout happens, it doesn't always mean there's going to be money to be made. Look, only one person fell for it. They spent $4. That's the maximum sale on this card, as it should be. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the open conversations back and forth. I love learning continuously from the community and enriching my own opinions through you guys, so I love the conversation we have there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And like I said, it's an interesting time in the market for sure, and it's gonna be a show come Black Friday. We're gonna be doing a 24-hour stream then with a Tournament of Madness, so you can stop in, and we'll probably be peeking in at the market all day and seeing how it's really going.